Hello, welcome to a weekly forecast for the week ahead, starting from the 28th of January on until the 4th of February 2016. No longer doing the daily Vedic lunar scopes, but we're going to do a weekly look ahead at particular aspects that are applicable for the week, that are kind of amping up the energy. We're going to focus on a few different aspects today. Just bring up another little chart here. Mainly a conjunction that's going on between Jupiter and Rahu, the North Lunar Node. Both of these planets are in Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra and in the sign of Virgo. Uttara Phalguni is associated with the sun. So how this energy is going to flow is very connected with the sun. And if we look, we can see that there has been a separating aspect going on between Jupiter and the sun. That is now beginning to wane a little bit. So a shift or a change in the way that you saw a particular connection that is not really making you feel quite so confident about that particular connection, right? And there's a recognition that with that particular connection, you may not be benefiting from it anymore, or the other person that's involved in it might not be benefiting from it quite as much either. Where Uttara Phalguni is concerned too, there is usually the association with putting one's energy behind a particular cause, championing something. What it's all about with Uttara Phalguni is joining together with something or someone, because there is a benefit in doing so that shifts one's life from a set of circumstances which are outdated, no longer functional, just doesn't really work anymore, or the individual just really wants a change towards something that is more fitting, right? And Uttara Phalguni is connected with the Vedic deity Aryaman, who's about contracts. But Aryaman also gets involved in a lot of battles, and he's a seasoned warrior. So it's about having the wisdom and having the confidence with which to approach a particular situation. But because we've got the sun in Aquarius, which is Saturn's sign, and the sun considers Saturn an enemy, then that level of confidence is not really there. So a level of confidence in a particular cause, which once you felt like you could really put your energy behind, well, that's really beginning to wane now a little bit. And you're looking for a shift. You're looking for a change. The energy you're willing to put behind a particular connection, well, that's beginning to shift too. But there is a warning with this particular energy, because Rahu kind of functions like a magnet. It'll pull you in a particular direction in association with something, and it'll make things appear to be one way, when in essence, underneath the surface, it's quite different. So it's not saying that change isn't warranted, but it is saying be cautious of how amplified or how intense or intensely you begin to see a particular set of circumstances. Where you have Rahu and Jupiter connecting with each other. Jupiter is about the planet of expansion, only Jupiter is retrograde right now. So there's an internal expansion that's going on, a need to look at whether something is really working for you, and you're really ready to make that shift inside of yourself to commit to something new. But what's going on with that is there's not the level of confidence that you might like to have right now. There's a lot of fears which are keeping you from making that forward motion. Panic, perhaps even hysteria about a particular set of circumstances. The panic's not necessarily warranted. The hysteria isn't warranted. What is warranted is a change and a need to look honestly at something, okay? Because what we're going to have going on, if we take a look, we can see that Jupiter, and this is on a scale of 0 to 60, the strength of an aspect. We've got Jupiter forming a rather strong aspect to Mercury, and Jupiter forming a rather strong aspect to Venus. And over the course of the week, this is going to amplify. and it's going to become more intense. Both of those planets start the week off in Purva Ashadha Nakshatra. Purva Ashadha Nakshatra is about getting rid of all the facades that you feel that you might have to put up in relation to a particular set of circumstances, showing your true face, recognizing where your heart really is in relation to something, being authentic with yourself, being authentic with another individual, but being in a space where you recognize that the best thing that you can do for a particular circumstance, which you are intricately involved in, whether it be a connection with another individual or whether it be a cause that you're associated with, one of the best things that you can do is to take a look and see, is this really something that I'm wanting to be associated with? Is this really what I feel to be the honorable thing to do? Some difficult assessments are likely going to have to be made in connection with that. You're going to be looking at things in a different light in relation to that too. Now, in addition to that, we've got an applying aspect going on between Mars and the Sun. The Sun is inching forward, so this is going to intensify over the course of the week. And we've got Mars in Vishaka Nakshatra, and we've got Sun first in Shravana, and then at the end of the week in Dhanishta Nakshatra, which is ruled by Mars. With Vishaka, the energy is related to one of an inner knowing on one level. And that inner knowing is connected with the recognition that there's something that's just not fitting. It doesn't fit in with where your heart is, and a change needs to be made, but you're not really sure of how to make that change. And you're having to restrain yourself from taking certain actions while the transformation is going on inside of yourself. So some adjustments are being made, but there's the tendency to see too many different directions at once. You know a change needs to be made, and first you're just kind of going, well, I'm just going to be solid until I see what to do. And then you begin to feel the impulse as per Mars to make a movement, to make a change. And in terms of that particular energy, Mars is going to be looking to do the right thing, but he needs to not get too scattered with his energy, let his energy become too unfocused, because there's a weakened Jupiter that's driven by a panic associated with Rahu that's making Mars explore too many different directions. Over the course of the week, we've got the Sun in Shravana. Shravana is about listening to those things that are beneath the surface, seeing beneath the exterior of the situation, really being able to pick up on all the different threads of your particular life story that's going on and see how that's pieced together and put those things together in order to come up with an idea or a plan of how to move forward, because Shravana is an Artha-driven nakshatra. It's about finding the right goal. And over the course of the week, even though we've got a moon that is waning, right? Because of the nakshatras that the moon is in, it's going to bring the potential for deeper levels of insight. And something not shown in this chart is that we've got an ongoing conjunction between Pluto and Mercury. So it's making you take a look at the reality of a situation and really approach it with penetrating insight, right? The thing is, I would say the key message in terms of this Mars-Sun aspect is where you're seeing so many different things that you can do, and where you're seeing so many different threads of a particular story. Don't get too analytical about it. If you get too analytical about the set of circumstances that you're dealing with, you're likely going to make a wrong choice. But should you instead allow yourself to move with what comes naturally for you? Because with Dhanishta, that's what it's all about allowing yourself to be acted through, not analyzing Mars's every movement. Mars thinks that I should do this, and Mars is thinking that I should do this. Instead, just let Mars act, right? Mars is going to handle the situation because we've got a strong Mars in Scorpio. So he is going to guide that energy. And Mars rules Dhanishta, so that's very helpful to the Sun's energy. A Sun that is somewhat weakened, right? Because we've got the Sun in this particular instance, with the Sun in Aquarius, In this particular instance, we've got Sun in a neutral sign. And due to that, the Sun is feeling that solutions are scarce. He's trying to find the connections. They're not really coming together for him. He's seeing different threads of a situation. He's looking for the wisdom, but Mars can give that support. Mars can go, okay, just let things be acted through. We have to do something. Just let myself be guided. But over the course of the week, really take a look at what's developing. You've got Saturn in Jyeshta. This Saturn is simultaneously aspecting the Sun and aspecting this Jupiter-Rahu connection. So on many levels, due to this connection with Saturn, and we've got Saturn in Jyeshta Nakshatra, ruled by Mercury, and Jyeshta is about seeing things with a deeper level of understanding, seeing things with a deeper perspective, really coming to a sense of clarity, not trying to deal with the situation just from sheer strength, but instead doing so from a space of wisdom, waiting until you see things in a clear light. That's likely going to happen towards the end of the week, even though this is an ongoing development and is likely not going to, come to a close for another couple of weeks or so. But where you're involved with a particular set of circumstances, a particular cause which you've felt previously was really something you could put your heart behind, and now you're kind of re-examining it, or a particular connection that you're involved in which really felt like a good connection and something that was beneficial for both parties, right? Where you're now thinking about moving on from that, give things some time. Over the course of this week, I think you're going to see some clearer changes. Wait until you can act from a space of acting naturally, because it's just what feels right. Wait until you see things with clarity without having to actually look for them, right? You're probably not going to feel the level of confidence that you want to feel with these particular changes. That's mainly because of Rahu and Jupiter in Uttara Phalguni. Uttara Phalguni, when it's functioning well, gives a strong sense of confidence, but when it's not supported well, then it makes an individual feel unconfident or like they have to kind of bolster themselves with a false sense of pride. And with this connection to Mercury and Venus in Purva Ashadha, that is not something which is going to be helpful. If you try to exert your will, if you try to just kind of act like things are one way and push your way through a set of circumstances, that's not going to help. But if you wait until it just feels natural, and that's what I was trying to say with Mars earlier. Mars is going to want to take an action, but Mars needs to wait until that action just feels natural. It's going to feel like the right thing. So that's going to do it for a look at the week ahead for you. I just wanted to mention, in case you are interested, you can schedule a consultation with me through my website. The link is below in the bottom corner. I use this very same system to conduct my consultations, and every consultation gets recorded, so you would have a copy of it all. That's going to do it for a look at the week ahead from the January 28th to the 4th of February 2016. Until next week, please take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.